So this week has been a little bit eventful, a little bit tough. You can probably tell with the fucking bags under my eyes. It was an interesting week for sure. And yeah, let me turn down because I don't need the air conditioning thing on. Or the not the air conditioning. I don't have air conditioning on. I don't even know if I tried to put air conditioning on once when it was like 32 degrees, and it just wouldn't let me. The button was blinking, or the light was like blinking when I was pressing the button. I'm like, what the fuck? It doesn't let you put it on. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but yeah. But I was turning the heat off. Anyways, though, just got off topic there. Uh, so yeah, I kind of have a lot of things to talk about this week. It was a very interesting week, and part of that was because of my bad decisions that I made during the weekend. I recorded the last weekly update, and then I think I uploaded it the next day on Sunday. And after that weekly update, I'm trying to remember what I did. I don't think I did very much that night. And the main thing I did was like, I'm just gonna try to get, I'm gonna be like ready to go to sleep and then play Legend ZA for a while, because I've been not getting to play Legend ZA. And so I finally got to like play some Legend ZA. And the problem that I ran into was that I just played a lot of Legend ZA because I didn't want to stop. And so I ended up playing for probably like 3 hours. I think I like increased my playtime by 50% over this weekend. I went from 12 hours to like 18 hours because I played like 3 hours on both nights of the weekend. And yeah, I'm having fun with it, but it's just I haven't gotten super far into it still. I'm like 18 hours in, and a lot of that has been me like fucking around the wild areas and stuff. So like I'm not really I'm not really like far into the story or anything. I know there's like some stuff in the story. I mean, I'm interested when it gets there, but like it hasn't gone there yet. So but the reason why I bring up a lot of the Legend ZA stuff is not just like, well, I played Legend ZA, but as I kind of alluded to, it was also kind of a bad decision. I don't think inherently it was bad to be like, oh, I played video games for like a couple hours. I don't think that was the problem. The problem was that I played them for too long. I played Legend ZA for a little too long, and I think like on Saturday I played it for like up until like 2 a.m. or something because I didn't want to stop. And then I stopped at like 2 a.m. and that kind of like fucked me a little bit. Because basically what happened was I went to bed at 2 a.m. I wake up at 9 a.m. because that's usually when I wake up. And so I'm running on like lower sleep. And yeah, like I definitely could feel it. And I did my best to not, not really do much on Sunday, but I did want to do one thing, because part of the reason I didn't want to do stuff on Sunday was because it snowed, and it wasn't just like less than an inch of snow or something and it's like gone instantly or whatever. It was a decent amount of snow. I mean, it's mostly melted by this point, but there is still some that's like out there. So that was kind of a thing that happened. And I've been kind of dreading the snow. Like, realistically, I dread snow since like 2022. Yeah, 2022. That I remember that was like the winter I was playing Pokemon Go. And I remember there was like a day where I went to my local park, and like getting there was not super easy. And I get there and I'm walking on the path, and the path is like complete ice. And I'm like trying to not slip with every step I'm taking. And it was not great. And then after that I was like, dude, I never want to fucking be in the snow again. But I've done it before. Like Ralt's Community Day last year, it like snowed, I think the day before, And so there was still snow everywhere, and it was like a decent amount of snow. But I still went out there. I still walked all the way there, and I walked around for a while, and I talked to a guy who is now pretty integrated in our local community, but back then he wasn't. And I talked to him for like an hour and got to know him pretty well, and then I was kind of the guy that integrated him into our local community, like Discord and stuff. And now he's like one of the main people that's active there. It's kind of funny. But yeah. So I do not like the snow. And the nice thing in a sense now is now I can drive. So now I don't have to worry about the fact that I would have to walk. I just have to be able to walk to my car, which, I mean, if I can't walk to my car, then there's something wrong there, you know? So now I can just walk to my car, get in my car, and go somewhere in my car. But the thing is that I also was like deathly afraid of having to drive in the snow. And so that was kind of something I was really afraid of. And let me go to it because I'm going a little out of order from what I wrote here, but I just kind of made these notes kind of unorganized. So, but yeah, I was really scared of driving in the snow, and this even like dates back to last year. I wanted to start driving because I was worried if I didn't start driving soon, then it was going to become winter, and then I wouldn't want to drive, especially when the snow is there, because, you know, driving in the snow is not going to be fun. It's going to be not great if I don't know how to drive, and then I have to drive in the snow. And this time, you know, I started in the summer, and I had like 6 months of experience pretty much of driving. And so I was happy I had that, but I was still like, I'm still gonna have to drive in the snow, and I've never driven in the snow before. What the fuck is gonna happen? And I was honestly pretty stressed out about it. And I almost didn't want to go do the thing I was gonna do, which was like the Gigantamax Snorlax event. Also, give me a second, because my auto catcher is yelling at me because my item bag is full. And so it's saying, hey, your item bag is full. Delete items, please. So, oh shit, there's a Team Rocket Grunt here. I need one more Team Rocket Grunt for this Master Ball research. So I'm gonna do that as I'm continuing to talk here. But I was really scared of going in the snow, and I wanted to do this Gigantamax Snorlax, you know, day with everybody in our community. But I was like, I don't know, do I want to do this? Do I want to go out there and risk it for this? But I also felt like it was probably a good time to do so, because in the future, what's going to happen, right, is there's going to be a day probably where I have to go to work and it snows, and I'm going to have to drive in the snow / ice / whatever. And so it's better if I get kind of this experience now instead of having to do it when I'm already under the pressure of like, I need to go to work, or else, you know, my job is going to be at risk and I'm not going to get paid. So that was kind of my big thing. I've just defeated this Team Rocket Grunt. But so I kind of decided, you know what? I'm going to go out in the snow for these stupid Gigantamax Snorlaxes. And honestly, I didn't even really get anything of note. I did get like an XXL one, which is cool, because I actually didn't have an XXL Snorlax before. So, you know, that's good, I guess. But other than that, it wasn't very eventful. But the thing was, I drove here in the snow, and I also went down a side street as well, which was like an experience, because dude, that was not very well plowed, obviously, because that's just kind of how side streets are. And I was like I could like hear like scraping of like snow and stuff as I'm like going, or like crunching of snow as I'm going over it, and I'm just like and I was going real slow. I was probably going like 10 miles an hour or something. Maybe. And yeah, it was an experience. I also forgot. Oh, well, that's good. I just remembered I forgot I had research tasks because I'm recording this towards the end of the like celestial research day, whatever they're calling it, and so it's Lunatone and Soul Rock in the thing in the research task, and I had 2 that I did, and then I forgot to claim them, and I just claimed it, and look at that guy. You can't even really see it because, wow, huh? But it's shiny, so that's cool. That was the only one I wanted because I have like 3 or 4 shiny Lunatones, and I have 1 shiny Soul Rock, but now I have an extra one, so that's cool. Yeah, he's got 15 attack, but as I was saying, got a little distracted there. As I was saying, yeah, I mean, I went to the place we were going to meet up because we were originally going to meet up at the park, and then that didn't happen because fucking Niantic / Scopely, they fuck with the power spots constantly. And so one of the power spots just disappeared at the park, and we had 1 active power spot at the park. So like, it's 1 Gigantamax Snorlax every 30 minutes. We're not fucking doing that. So we went to a spot where there's 2. And it wasn't bad. And there's ample parking, so we were all just in our cars, which was kind of a weird experience because it's like I like to play Pokemon Go and do these events because I like to interact with the community. And so it kind of sucks when I'm just sitting here in my car just like, yeah, I'm just catching Snorlax, and we're just kind of communicating over Discord and text. So that was kind of an interesting thing. But actually going back to my notes now, because I'm done with Go now. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. It was not as bad as I was expecting. And I think that's kind of how things usually tend to go when it comes to like anything I'm like fucking scared of. Like I was so scared. I was like, dude, I'm gonna like slice my arm off in the deli. I'm gonna like crash into like a building when I start driving, and like that didn't happen because it was fucking stupid. Like it turns out that if you just have like the tiniest bit of faith in yourself, you're gonna realize that you're not just gonna fuck everything up. So, and the same was true for this. I thought I was gonna pull out the driveway, and I was gonna go like, oh, it's gonna be kind of hard because it's all blurred. But I thought I was gonna go like back out, and then it was just gonna slide, and I was just gonna slide into something or somebody, and that didn't happen. Like it was fine. It was fine. So, yeah. Overall, driving in the snow, I was really afraid, and it wasn't that bad. And one of the things I think kind of helped me, like kind of calm those nerves a little bit, was I had time when I got up on Sunday, and I was thinking about what to do. One of the things I just decided to do, I did like some loose kind of notes for some of these future videos I have planned that I got to record at some point, but I haven't really had the time. But I had an idea to just start writing, some thoughts I had on driving in the snow. And I feel like it kind of helped because it kind of made me realize, like, it's probably not going to be that bad. I mean, like, for example, like highway driving, like, dude, I was so afraid to go on the highway, and I went on the highway, and it's not fun. I'm not like, yeah, I love going on the highway. Like, no, fuck going on the highway. It's annoying as shit. Especially when it's like rush hour traffic or just, general New Jersey traffic. But on the other hand, I was thinking about it, and it's like, well, people literally drive on the highway every single day. They have to drive every single day, sometimes for like an hour every single day on the fucking highway. And, it's not a big deal to them. Like, why is it a big deal to me? Like, I don't even have to do that every day. And I'm like, oh, I can't go on the highway or some shit. And so just kind of like writing about it and thinking about it and just talking about like the things, or not talking, but like writing down kind of the thing, the way that I feel, and like kind of rationalizing it or trying to rationalize it and understand where it comes from. I think it was a big thing. Because I was talking about that experience I had in the park where I was just sliding around on ice the whole time and it sucked. And it kind of just made me realize, like, you know, maybe it won't be that bad. And it wasn't that bad. And I kind of left it off thinking, like, maybe someday I'll be able to like the snow again. Because I used to love the snow as a kid. And then when you go out in the snow, you realize the snow fucking sucks. And then, yeah. But to kind of segue off that, I've been kind of thinking more about like the idea of just writing more stuff and just seeing kind of what happens. And I've also been thinking that at some point it might be interesting to upload it. Like, part of me doesn't want to, because there's a sort of like authenticity that gets lost when you have infinite time to just write stuff, because the way that I'm like speaking now would not be the same way I'm speaking if I'm, you know, reading off a script and all that. That's sort of like, I guess, planned out things that you're gonna say. It's much more different when you just kind of have to speak from whatever's on your mind, and you just kind of have loose notes like I do. And it makes me, but it still kind of is something I feel like I could maybe learn to like a little more. I mean, I used to make those scripted videos, but I haven't made a scripted video in months. But I've been thinking it might be a good idea, and I'm just, the only thing I want to figure out is where I would put that stuff, because it's like, I don't know where that would go. I know you can do stuff on like your YouTube page or whatever, where you can like upload. Oh my god, it's a wheelie boy. I still will never forget, there's that one compilation, or not there's that one stream highlight of Eris, aka Avoiding the Puddle. You know, he's like a big kind of like FGC and like variety guy. I love watching that guy. That guy is just so funny. I'll never forget too. I was just thinking about this the other day. But I watched the Minecraft movie. It was the first time I'd watched a movie in forever. And like, honestly, one of the things that really got me was at the beginning of the movie when I think it's like Jason Momoa's character or whatever. He buys like a storage unit or whatever. And something happened. I can't even remember. But like, the storage people were like disappointed in him, and they're like we, the storage community, are disappointed in you. And I was just like, the storage community, like what the fuck? But he always says like, oh, you know, the fucking I don't even know, I can't, but he'll like say the blank community for like everything, like the hot dog community or something. And that shit just gets me every time. The way he says it, that guy is just funny. That guy is just so funny. Especially whenever he's just laughing at shit. I just always laugh at shit too. But it just, that seeing that fucking motorcycle guy just reminded me of that, because there's that one car chase, because it's technically not a car chase, because it was a bunch of fucking guys on fucking bikes. And it was like these two guys on bikes that they're like fucking, you know, running away from the cops and shit. And then it like turns into like fucking 30 guys on bikes, and they're all like doing wheelies and shit. Oh man. And like they stopped to refuel like 3 times. That shit was crazy. But that just made me think of that. That was a whole tangent I just went on there. But anyways, to get back to where I was, I know like there is something on YouTube you can like upload a post, and then you can have you can attach like pictures to it, because I was thinking about like kind of drawing something and then you know, having like a wall of text to add to it to just talk about something, or to write about something, I guess, not talk about something. But, like, at the same time, I'm thinking, is that even really worth it? Because, like, do people see those posts? Because I never see that shit. Like, sometimes, there's been a couple times where I, like, use the YouTube app, and I'm always surprised when I see that shit, or I see, like, a poll or something, and I'm like, I didn't even know this existed. Because, like, how would I see it on desktop? I mean, I guess a lot of people use YouTube on mobile, so it kind of makes sense. But I never see that shit on desktop, so I don't even know that shit exists half the time. I see, like, some random poll or something. I'm like, what the fuck? This exists? And it's something you would never know existed if you didn't, like, upload things to YouTube and you didn't use the mobile app. And I barely use the mobile app because the mobile app is so dog shit. Oh my god. I'll save that whole thing for another day, but, like, dude, oh my god, the mobile app. Oh, I can never use that mobile app. I use a different mobile app, we're just gonna say. But yeah. I was thinking that the whole idea of just writing stuff would be kind of nice because it would kind of be like a silent outlet to it, to, you know, give it kind of a name. It would be a way for me to be able to make stuff without having to kind of put myself out there to an extent, not having to speak, because it tends to be kind of hard for me to do that at home, especially recently. So that would be kind of my potentially a way that I could make stuff without kind of having to be vocal and loud about stuff, you know? So that's an interesting thought. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do that or not, but I would have to think about it. We'll see. So anyways, let me go back again, because I kind of got way off topic with not way off topic, but, like, I kind of segued it into the snow thing, and I want to bring it back a little bit. Because on Sunday night, I also played another 3 hours of Legends ZA. And I really fucked up my sleep schedule between Saturday and Sunday. It was not good. It's not a smart idea. Bad idea. I realized how much I fucked up. Because I felt pretty tired on Monday. And it kind of persisted. Because basically what happened was that I just kind of entered this loop where I just got a random Discord notification. I'm too lazy. I was gonna turn off my vibration. I'm not doing it. Too lazy. But as I was saying, God, stop autofocusing. We're just gonna, give me a second. Let me just, please, lock. Why is it up? Oh my god. Dude, thank you. Okay. As I was saying, so I really fucked up my sleep schedule because I stayed up late those nights and I didn't fix the sleep schedule. And then I just kept kind of procrastinating stuff. So, for example, I would, like, stay up because I didn't want to finish, the stuff I was working on. Like, I didn't want to finish working on, like, a thumbnail or working on, writing something or whatever. And so my sleep just got really fucked. And I feel I like used to not really care. I used to go to bed at like fucking 2 or 3 or 4 every night, and I didn't care. But like now I go to bed at 1, I'm like, oh dude. And so yeah. I was extremely tired this week because I fucked up my sleep schedule. And I kind of really I really kind of got what I fuck, what am I even saying? I'm like losing it right now. I'm losing it. I really got to feel the effects of what I watched from a recent video from Snooks about I didn't watch the whole video, but I know he kind of talked about his first day at his new job and all that. And one of the things that really stood out to me was he said that he really learned the lesson of your work week starts on Friday, which sounds weird because it's like, well, why would it start on Friday? Because, you have your weekend and then, Monday is where it should start, right? But when you're off on Saturday and Sunday, if you fuck up your sleep schedule and you do a bunch of dumb bullshit, you're gonna fucking feel it eventually. Because basically I fucked up my sleep schedule those nights, and then I didn't really fix it because then it's like, well, I'm working and I'm tired and, I don't have the energy to really go and, like, fix it. I'm not gonna, like, come home at 11 o'clock and then go to bed at 12. Like, that's just not gonna happen, especially when I'm, like, used to going to bed at 1 now. And so, yeah, the whole week I was just super fucking tired. I've been tired so much. It's not been easy for me. And it also wasn't easy because at work, it's very tiring. Especially because we would have a lot of customers, and then I'm like hoping for it to slow down, and then it kind of slows down for like a little bit, and then it starts like going again. And I'm getting all these annoying customers at like 8 o'clock. I was not having the best time. And, like, there's part of me that can rationalize, like, okay, I mean, some people, they're busy, and this is, like, their time where they can go to the supermarket or whatever, right? Or some people, it's just, they're kind of having a shit day. Also, my item bag is full again. Some people, they're just having a shit day, and they can't, this is, like, something they're just doing because they just want to get out of the house. They don't want to deal with this shit. And I get that. And then there's also part of me that is just like, dude, why do you have to come here at fucking 8 o'clock at night, man? And, like, there were some customers that were driving me up a wall a little bit. There was especially this one point, right, where there was a guy who I've seen before. I know him. He's not a bad guy or anything. He came and he wanted this turkey, and we have two different kinds. We have two varieties of chicken, or not chicken, turkey. Oh my god, that just reminded me of yesterday. There was a woman that came and she was asking for chicken, but she's pointing at a turkey, and I'm like, do you want chicken or do you want turkey? And she was like, no, I want the chicken. And so yeah, but back to what I was saying. Yeah, that guy comes in and he wanted a turkey, and the turkey he mentioned was the one that I went to get. And the thing is that we had no more there. So I was like, okay, I'll go check if we have more. And I was like, oh yeah, we have more. We have more. I could open a new one for you if you want. And so I started opening that, and then, like, halfway through opening it, he was like, oh, actually, I didn't want that one. I wanted the other one. And the other one we were out of at the moment. And I was like, oh. And, like, I just opened this, and I'm like, I'm trying to clean as much as I can. And then this happens. I open this thing, and now now he doesn't want that. And I was just like, fuck, dude. Oh. Like, I was on top of, like, all the other fucking tilt I was experiencing that day already. And then on top of that, there's this other woman that's, like, badgering me the whole time, because she's like, is there anybody else there who can help me? Is there? And I'm like, well, listen, we have one slicer open, so, even if I get my other coworker here, it's not going to do very much because he's just going to have to wait to be able to help you. So, and she's like, oh, well, leave that turkey there, because, I'm going to want that turkey after, and, like, shit like that. And then she left, because I guess she didn't want to wait, like, a minute. And, but like, just, customers were driving me up a wall. I had a lot of customers that were just very annoying to deal with, and, oh, man. And, like, it did not help that I was tired, and I just wanted to get my work over with, and that's what I'm having to deal with. And it's like I don't really blame them, but you know, yeah, it was a little bit tough, a little bit annoying to deal with, especially just a lot of customers coming late. It's really a giant pain when customers come late because, you know, we're trying to finish cleaning and now we have to deal with more customers. So, yeah. And that kind of, I guess, segues a little bit into kind of talking about, I think I'm probably going to talk about this in a future video too. I have to script it out because it basically kind of chronicles what I was thinking yesterday, just kind of where my mind went yesterday with some things that I'm not going to talk about in this video. I'll save it for another video. But I kind of am starting to feel like maybe that honeymoon phase of work is kind of over at this point. Because I was like the first couple months, I was like, yeah, you know what? I love it here. It's awesome. You know, and it almost felt like it was more of my home than like my actual home is. Like I wanted to be there more than I wanted to be at home, you know? And I was even going there on my off days and all that. And now I kind of feel like I'm starting to get a little bit jaded, I guess, or like just a little bit burnt out. Like I've just been working so fucking hard that I'm just kind of like tired and I just don't have entirely the same level of passion I had. And I still really do like helping customers and just, you know, making people's day. But it doesn't help that I'm just so fucking tired. I'm just so tired. It's rough. And also, I mean, one of the things that really sucks is just customer service now. And I got a little bit black-pilled on this because there's a recent video that Moist Critical uploaded where it's some woman and she basically goes into like retail places and just kind of like harasses the employees and makes their lives hell. And I was watching that and I was like, dude, I fucking hate that, man. I hate that. I really despise when people will pull that bullshit. Because I feel like there's so many people now where they're just out of touch and they just don't understand what it's like to work a fucking, you know, a real job. Not like you're working some office job or you're a fucking real estate agent or whatever, right? Or you're a fucking like influencer, some shit, right? I feel like nobody understands how fucking hard it is to work a job nowadays where you have to deal with fucking customers, because I feel like everybody nowadays, they're just so on edge, they're so impatient, and it's just fucking terrible, man. Like, I just hate it. There was a woman yesterday. It was when we got this big rush of customers, and I, you know, was helping most of the customers, and my other coworker was making a sandwich for this old woman. And you know, this old woman, she's like very particular about the sandwich. She wants a bunch of annoying things on it. Like she wanted like a salad on it, and she wants all these other condiments and toppings and things. And so it's a whole fucking mess. But, you know, my other coworker that was working with me, she's very good at making sandwiches because, you know, she makes a lot of sandwiches. And so I have to, you know, I'm having to deal with all these other customers that they want all this stuff sliced. And I'm doing my best to go as fast as I can. And while I was helping this one guy, I think he wanted like a pound of roast beef or something, I think, if I remember. But as I'm helping this one guy, this old woman, she's like coming and she's like, can you check on your other coworker to see what she's doing with the sandwich? And I'm like, she's making the sandwich right now. Like, I can see her. She's making the sandwich right now. Like, it's literally to my left. I look and she's making the sandwich. And I'm like, she is making the sandwich. You know? Well, I didn't say it like that. I was like, she's making the sandwich right now. She'll, you know, it'll be done soon, but she's making it right now. And I'm still continuing to, slice this guy's roast beef, and I finish his roast beef and whatever. And again, she's like, can you go check on your coworker? She making the sandwich? Is it done yet? Like, I was just like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you don't just fucking materialize a sandwich from thin air. You have to slice all the stuff and like get all the ingredients, right? And you have to get the bread. You have to put all the stuff on the bread. All the ingredients that you had to prepare, you have to put them on the bread. And then you have to fucking, you slice it in half and you wrap it and you label it, and then you can get your sandwich. Doesn't just fucking, materialize out of thin air. But like, people do not fucking understand that. And it's crazy. And it's just in general, there's things where they just don't understand that things take time. Like, you can't just say, hey, can you shred a pound of turkey and not, be willing to wait like fucking 5 minutes, because it's going to take 5 minutes. But people are so impatient nowadays. And sometimes very rude too. Like, they just have zero patience, and they're just not going to be nice to you because I guess in their eyes, you're just not worth anything. So, but, kind of going back to that video that I was mentioning, this is this woman, and she's just like fucking being a nuisance to fucking employees. And I was just like, what a piece of shit. Like, it's crazy. She's like fucking going around the store like, can you point me to where the microphones are? And then like the guy points her in the direction where the microphones are, and she's like, I don't see any microphones over here. And also forgot to mention that the guy that was pointing her in the direction, he's in the middle of helping another customer, and she like interjects because, she's too important. And so she she has to get another person that goes in and finds the microphones for her. And then it's like, it doesn't end there, because then she's like, well, it says it's $87 on your website, but it says it's $89 here or something like that. And it just becomes this whole fucking thing where she gets like 5 fucking people in this fucking Best Buy to deal with her bullshit, And there was also one that he showed where it was like her in a Starbucks and like basically just fucking trying to gaslight this fucking employee, because she's saying that this guy ordered something else. He didn't order a sausage because it's pork and he's allergic to pork or some bullshit. And like, she literally is like, he ordered the sausage. And it was at least nice to see in that video, seeing like there was a manager that came and just fucking like stepped in and defended, her coworker / I guess not really coworker, but her employee. And that was cool to see. But it's just frustrating how bad the state of customer service is. And I think it really kind of shows why people don't want to do those jobs anymore, because it's so fucking tough to deal with all these assholes that they just don't understand what it's like to work retail now, because they think everything can just magically poof out of thin air instantly, and there's like an unlimited amount of supply of everything, and you're not a real person, you're just an NPC that has to do everything that they say. And it really showcases why people don't want to fucking work these jobs. And on top of that, that's just from the customer side of things. But from, the actual like business side of things, you have so much bullshit going on there too, because they're constantly trying to squeeze as much as they can out of people. And there's a reason why I feel like, there's a lot of turnover in certain places. Like in certain supermarkets, there's a massive amount of turnover because they are trying to squeeze everything they can out of people. And it's pretty fucked up. And I am lucky enough to not have it as bad as a lot of other people. But even so, like, there are still annoying parts of my job, and it sucks. So, yeah. I kind of feel like I've been starting to get a little bit out of that honeymoon phase of like, yeah, everything's great and I'm enjoying my job. I'm kind of like, I like parts of it, and there are parts of it that I don't like, or that I'm just tired of. So, yeah, I don't know why I'm randomly, my nose is starting to run randomly. That's awesome. Oh my god. That's also something that is very annoying about the deli, by the way. I will just have my nose run like all the time. Probably because I'm surrounded by fridges and freezers all day. And it's also just cold in general. So, yeah. But anyways, though, back to where I was with a lot of things. So, something else that happened this week was I finally got my Christmas shopping finished, pretty much. There is probably one or two more things that I would maybe like to get, but I'm basically done at this point. So, I'm pretty happy about that. I will say, the last things to arrive, because I ended up just ordering a bunch of stuff, as I'll get back to in a minute. The last things to arrive, oh my god. Apparently, the UPS driver, he put the package on the back of one of our trucks, and he just left it there. Like, he didn't put it on our porch, he didn't put it on the steps, he just he just put it on the back of a vehicle and left. Which is crazy. And I had no idea. I didn't realize it got delivered that day. And had I known, I probably would have checked, our porch and been like, there's nothing here. But I didn't even see that it got delivered that day. And I found out my dad, he took the truck that had it on it. It's a fire truck in the background. But he took that truck and drove. And the thing is, it stayed on the back because it was frozen to the fucking bed of the truck. And so, he's coming back to the truck after he parked it and went somewhere and came back. And he's looking and he's like, what's that on the back of the truck? And it was my package. And it was soaking wet. And we had no idea if it was even going to be good. If the stuff in there was going to be okay. Because it wasn't just, it wasn't something that is not very fragile. It was just, little paper things. I had a cousin and she really likes a lot of Nintendo stuff. And I ended up playing hours of Fire Emblem Heroes to get my Nintendo Platinum points to then use to buy stuff on my Nintendo. Because I know she probably doesn't really use the My Nintendo stuff. And so I figured this is kind of an exclusive thing I can get her, because she has pretty much everything. If I get her a fucking Mario Plus, she has fucking 30 already. She doesn't need more. But if I get her this stuff, this is, stuff she doesn't have and she probably would really like. So I was a little scared to see it was, completely soaked. But fortunately, Nintendo did a pretty good job, and they had double packaged it. It was the cardboard was 2 layers of cardboard. And so I was like, thank God for that. Because the UPS driver did not do the greatest job. But yeah, there's part of me that was like, should I complain about this? But at the same time, I can also kind of sympathize to an extent. And it's you probably shouldn't do that. And you're probably going to get fucked over if that's a customer that actually has something that's sensitive in there and then, gets fucked up. So, in one sense, it's not great to not punish that behavior. But also I can kind of understand. I can imagine it's probably very stressful this time of year being a delivery driver. So I get it. But yeah. So, uh, back to the Christmas shopping thing though. It feels good to pretty much be done with my Christmas shopping and just, I'm all good now. I'm good. I'm done. And I will say that there were parts of it I liked. I liked being able to go to stores and like find stuff. But a lot of it ended up just kind of being online shopping. And on the one hand, it's like online shopping, it is kind of nice because you don't have to go to the store and just kind of be at the mercy of whatever the store has. And if they're out of stock of something, well, too bad. It's nice to have that, but also I feel like it does kind of ruin it to an extent because it just kind of feels like boring because you just, you can just kind of find whatever, right? You can find the so-called perfect gift for them because there's basically anything you can want online. Like if you go on Amazon, you can probably find whatever the fuck you want. You can probably, you want to find like a shark dildo, it probably exists. So it's like, anything you can probably imagine, you can probably find online somewhere. And, there's a perfect gift out there somewhere. But also, there's infinite options, and sometimes you just kind of end up scrolling through them, and it's very difficult to find what you're looking for, or like find things that you would think someone else would like. And a lot of it is just kind of like some random crap that's like, this, I don't, like, nobody would want this. I'm buying gifts for. And that also leads me into the searching, because searching was a fucking pain. When I was going through it, I would just have to scroll, and, like, find some stuff here and there, but a lot of it was kind of And just, in general, just searching for stuff is not very easy. It's not fun. But I did end up finding enough stuff that I feel like is pretty good. And I'm pretty happy with what I did. So, we'll see how things go, ultimately. But I feel like I did a pretty solid job. So, yeah. So, I guess to kind of... it has been, like, a pretty long video already. And I still have little more to talk about. So, I mean, the first kind of little thing here is, I wanted to just kind of, like, I guess float this idea out here, because I kind of had this realization the other day where I was just thinking, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I am the problem. Because I feel like to an extent, I was really, because I've kind of talked about before, about working out and kind of the problems I have with it, because I never want to, like, work out in front of people, because it just kind of feels weird for me to do. And I think part of that was I was always worried that people were going to, like, hear that I was working out and then be like, oh, he's, like, working out. Why is he working out? It's weird, or something like that. And I realized that I think I was so worried about other people hearing it that I would, like, instinctually kind of tune it in and hear it. And I realized when I stopped hearing it, I stopped caring as much, And so I'm thinking that maybe I'm just focusing a little too much on that. And maybe if I'm not the one hearing that, it's not going to, I'm not going to tune it in as much, and I'm not going to care about it as much. And I'm not going to, like, be thinking about it all the time. Am I being too loud working out? Because unfortunately, like, the whole floor of my room pretty much just constantly creaks. And so it's like, I take a step and it's like, it sucks. But yeah, that's kind of been a thing. And I guess I can kind of circle a little bit back to work now, because yeah, I got things to say about work for sure. Thursday, it was another Thursday. I don't like Thursdays. I did get to talk to the manager that I had talked to last week, and he told me, by the way, I told the store manager about what you said, so he knows. Which, it's pretty reassuring. It's good to know that he kind of passed my message on to the store manager to, hopefully get something done about this in the near future. But going into Thursday, it was an interesting time on Thursday. The first, probably 20, 30 minutes of the shift were not bad. There's pretty much no customers. I got a lot done. And I was feeling pretty good. I was like, okay, I'm pretty ahead of the curve here. I can probably get things, I can probably have, the last slicer closed by 9 with everything else done. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. And then there were a lot of customers that came. And it was pretty difficult. I mean, he helped with a couple here and there. But as I kind of mentioned in the other video, basically what that manager told me when I talked to him about this is he said, he's probably just waiting for managers to leave so that, it looks like he's helping. And then when 6 o'clock or so rolls around, he just stops helping because now he knows that nobody cares. And, he's not going to get in trouble for not helping. And so, again, he helps a couple customers here and there. I'm helping the majority of them. He helps a couple customers and then stops helping. And there was also one particular instance where I'm cleaning and then this woman comes. And she comes sometimes and she orders sandwiches. And they're not crazy sandwiches or anything. But so she wants a sandwich. And I'm like, all right, I'll make you your sandwich. I'm not the greatest sandwich maker in the world, but I can make sandwiches. So I'm making her the sandwich, and there's another customer at the counter, and I'm like, well, there's another customer here. I guess we'll see what happens. And my coworker eventually comes over. He sees that I'm making a sandwich, and he's to my left. He's directly to my left, and he just laughs. He's just or something like that. And then he looks at me like that, right? And he just leaves. He just leaves. And there's another customer at the counter, and I'm helping this woman. I'm making her sandwich for her, and he just leaves. He just leaves. And so here I am making the sandwich, and there's another customer that needs to be helped. So I make the sandwich. I probably made the sandwich in, I don't know, maybe 4 minutes, maybe? It was pretty quick. I wasn't fucking slouching or anything. I was working my ass off. And I make this sandwich. And then I don't have time to clean up the sandwich thing because, I have another customer I gotta help because, by the way, he left this customer, so I had to be the one to go help. So, yeah. But I go and I help this customer, and she wants 5 things. So it was, a bit of a longer order. And there was also another customer that came after I was talking to for a little bit because he's somewhat of a regular, not as much anymore, but see him every now and then. He's a good guy. I like talking to him, So that was that, right? But I am helping customers, and I don't have time to clean the sandwich thing. And he had cleaned the sandwich thing before. So, I get it if it's he's going to be a little annoyed, right? He's going to be a little bit annoyed if there's a mess there now because, I had to use it. Which, it wasn't even that messy, by the way. I did kind of, spill a tiny bit of mayo, but, that was it. And he comes back as I'm in the middle of helping customers. And he looks at it, and he starts getting all pissy about it. And he didn't, say anything to me directly. He's not dude, why the fuck did you mess up my sandwich shit? Or anything like that, right? But I could hear him over there as he's doing it, and he's, saying shit are you serious? Or oh my God. Or he's laughing to fuck, you know, shit like that. Like, he's basically fucking, you know, besmirching me or some shit, right? He's like fucking getting pissed at me because I didn't clean the sandwich thing, which, you know why I didn't clean the sandwich thing? Because I didn't have time, because he left those customers there and I had to go fucking help the customers. So that was a thing. I was pretty annoyed about that. And particularly, I was annoyed because you want to hear the sweetest irony to it all. This motherfucker, so there was like, there's like some special holiday meat I'm not going to fully go into because I'm not trying to really give away the location where I work, so. But there's this holiday meat that we have at our store and has gravy on it. And he sliced some of it, and he puts it back. But he left like a shitload of gravy on the slicer. And not only that, right? But he also left gravy all over the fucking window that I had cleaned. I had just cleaned that shit like just before, and he left this fucking giant mess of gravy on it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? And that was before this sandwich thing. And when he starts fucking complaining and shit about the sandwich thing afterwards, I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious? I had to fucking go and clean up your mess, and you had infinite time to fucking clean up that shit because there was no customers. You were not dealing with customers at all. And I had to fucking go clean up your mess, and you complain when I have to fucking go help customers because you didn't help them, and then I can't fucking clean the sandwich thing. The first thing I would have done after finishing, you know, with the customers, I would have went straight to the sandwich thing and cleaned it up, because that's the fucking type of person I am. I'm gonna clean up my fucking mess. If I made a mess here, I'm gonna clean it up. But sometimes you can't because it's just customers. Ah, dude, it was so annoying. I'm gonna take a sip of water really quick because I can feel my throat is getting a little dry. So yeah. Just drank like half that water bottle. Oh man. But yeah. So there was that shit. And then a little bit after, because basically the customers did not really stop, and I was doing my damnedest to try and get things done. I'd already finished several things. I was like kind of ahead of pace, but I had pretty much not been able to do anything because the customers. And so I'm closing the first slicer a little bit late, and I'm doing what I can. You know, there's been a bunch of customers. And this motherfucker, he comes over to me. And he's sitting there going, you know, oh, well, the assistant manager is closing tonight. And he's going to be really pissed if we're not done by 10 p.m. And I'm just like, okay, but what do you want me to do? Like, we've had a bunch of customers. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I didn't, you know, directly say that, but I was like, well, I've had a lot of customers. I said, well, we've had a lot of customers, which I should have said, well, I've had a lot of customers, but, you know. But he's like, well, you know, you better get moving or some shit like that. I don't know. But he basically said something along those lines, like just kind of fucking being rude and trying to like intimidate me. And I know the fucking manager, right? I know this manager, and I know he's not gonna be pissed at me. I know that he knows what a motherfucker this guy is. So by the way, I forgot. I probably should have locked the doors. Forgot about that. But anyways, like, he's trying to fucking intimidate me so I'll move quicker, so I'll get shit done and he doesn't have to do anything. But like, the way he does that shit, it just pisses me off. And it also kind of shows me what he thinks of me in his eyes, because I think to him, he thinks, you know, I'm incompetent. right? And that I don't fucking know anything, and I don't know any better, and I don't know this fucking manager. But I talk to this manager pretty fucking frequently. I know this guy. I like this guy. This is the fucking, this is the guy I talk to about him, about my coworker. This is the guy I fucking talk to about him. And he's trying to fucking, like, intimidate me and, like, make it seem like, he's gonna be really pissed. Like, I know he's not gonna be very pissed at me, because he knows I'm fucking working my ass off. He knows that I don't fucking leave this deli like you do. And like, when he said that shit to me, I was like, you fucking serious, dude? And on top of that, there's also one instance where I'd cleaned the first slicer, and when I clean the slicer, I have like a little sponge. We have like sponges that we use to like scrub the slicer. And so I had left my slicer and my cup of soap by the sink. And because I was using that sink to clean some of the parts. And I left it there. And later on, I forgot I had left it there for a little bit. And so I went back to get it, and it was gone. I was like, what the fuck? Where'd it go? And I'm like looking all around the deli for it, and I can't find it. And I know I left it there, and I was like, this motherfucker threw it away. He threw it away. This motherfucker threw it away. I was so pissed. Literally, that's what I was saying in my head. I was like, this motherfucker threw it away. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? I was so annoyed. And it's just little shit like that he does. Where he just, he throws away your sponge. He, hogs the sink until fucking like 1 hour before closing. It's ridiculous. What the fuck is wrong with him, dude? And he, it's not like, oh, he did it on accident. I'm pretty sure he does this shit because he wants to fuck you over. He wants to make you look bad. Because, he knows that the best thing to do is to drag you down with him. Because if he is fucking, if he is on the same level as you, then it makes him look better. Because if you're fucking doing 80% of the work and he's doing 20% of the work, and you're finishing like an hour early and he's fucking not finished by, closing, he's gonna look bad. He's gonna look bad. So, yeah. That was annoying. And then, on top of that, right? So he did that whole thing where he tried to intimidate me and say, you better finish because this, this manager, he's going to be real pissed if you don't finish by 10 p.m. And then, you know what he did? He kept fucking leaving. He kept leaving. He fucking leaves all the time. This motherfucker, dude. He just keeps leaving. And I'm just sitting there in the deli 6 hours straight, fucking working my ass off. Never get a single break, never get to drink water, never get to piss, never get to do anything. And he just leaves. And he's the fucking guy who's sitting there acting all concerned about, we gotta finish by 10 p.m. because otherwise it's gonna be a big fucking problem. And then he just fucking leaves all the time. And I watched him. At one point he took the garbage and he had a cart, for the garbage. He had a bunch of garbage bags in the cart, right? And I'm like, okay, he's taking the garbage, whatever. He's gonna fucking probably be gone for a while. And I look back like 5 minutes later after he left. And I can see the cart. It's right next to the self-checkout. And it's probably been there for 5 minutes. I was like, dude, really? And so then eventually the cart finally leaves. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess he took it. And then, like, maybe like 5 or so minutes later, guess what? The cart is back, not by the self-checkout, but before the self-checkout, like near an aisle. And then it goes back by the self-checkout. He was gone for like fucking 15 or 20 minutes. And I was just like, dude, you fucking serious, man? And he, by the way, he did, like, when he was by the self-checkout, the last time he was by the self-checkout, guess who was right there? The fucking closing manager that night. He was just right there looking at him like, he knows. He's, it's kind of hard to make a move at the moment because, it's the holidays and they don't want to be short-staffed. But, like, he definitely, I feel like he probably saw it, I'll speak to him whenever I get the chance, maybe on Monday, if I get the chance, just be like, yeah, you saw what was going on Thursday. But, yeah. He was just a total piece of shit. And I didn't even, like, there have been some times where, like, he's a piece of shit to me and I'm still kind of like, yeah, I'll see you next week, dude, or something like that. I didn't even fucking say anything to him. I didn't say anything to him. I went to go look for my coworker so I could drive that guy to the bus. And I saw him, I didn't even say anything to him. I just left. Fuck him. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. He treats me like shit. He treats everybody else like shit. Fuck him. I'm not gonna be nice to him. Maybe next time I'll just be like, yeah, go fuck yourself, dude. Yeah. But, on the bright side, I got home that night. I went to bed kind of late, as I have been. But I wanted to get up early the next day because I wanted to go have a chat with the deli manager. Not the assistant manager that I had been talking to. I wanted to, because he told me you should go talk to your deli manager and your deli assistant manager. And so I went and did just that. I went there, got there a little later than I wanted to, if I'm being honest. I got there like, there's still a couple minutes before my shift started, but yeah. But I got there and I went to my deli manager and I just talked to him. He texted me and asked me if I can work a Saturday, which means I'm gonna have to work with that annoying coworker again. But whatever, right? But I spoke to him briefly about that, and I was like, if you had a minute, I wanted to, maybe talk about some things going on in the deli. And he was like, you mean that coworker's name, right? I was like, yeah. He knows very well what's going on. I mean, he has known what has been going on for a long time. And that's part of the reason I kind of didn't want to speak to him so much. And why I was more eager to speak to the assistant manager, because the assistant manager, he's very, like, on top of things, and he wants to, he wants people to do things. And he's always trying to get everybody to go the extra mile, which some people may not like, right? But for me, I don't mind that so much. I like having a guy who is, like, passionate and he really wants to make sure things get done. And so, interesting. I don't know what's going on over there. But, yeah. But I wanted to speak to the deli manager just to let him know what is going on. And basically he told me that the assistant manager told him a lot of what was going on, a lot of what I said. But I kind of just reiterated some stuff, talked about, like last night, how or the night before, where he was, kind of trying to intimidate me. And, yeah, he said, just, keep doing what you're doing, keep doing your work, you're doing a good job, and just, don't deal with him. Basically what it comes down to. And supposedly they're going to have a very, serious talk with him soon. So hopefully that'll be good. Because it's like, I don't want this dude to get fired or something, right? I just want him to, fix his fucking behavior. If he actually decides, hey, I'm going to work, I'm going to do a fair share of the work, I'm going to be nice to people, and whatever, right? Like, I don't see how I can't get along with that, right? I have no problem with anybody else in the deli. Like, maybe there could be some little things here and there I could say, like, oh, you know, maybe I don't like this so much, or, you know, maybe this person, you know, they do this thing I don't really like when they, you know, do that, or I prefer this way or whatever. But this is not that, right? This guy is being an asshole to me. He's being an asshole to customers. He's being an asshole to my other coworkers. He's being an asshole to the management. He is just an asshole to everybody. And he's not doing his fair share of the work. So, yeah. I feel like every one of these every one of these weekly updates is just me fucking complaining about this guy at this point. But it's like, I have to, dude. I hate this fucking guy. I have never punched somebody in my life, but like, this guy is the guy that makes me want to fucking punch him. Like, I've never wanted to punch somebody in my fucking life. This is the guy where I'm like, yeah. So, oh man, and there was a really funny instance a couple weeks ago. My coworker was telling me that there was another coworker, and he's working with this fucking guy, and he despises this guy more than me. And oh, that's a train. I'll give it a second. Set. Yeah. Okay. But that fucking coworker hates this guy more than I do. And one day my coworker gets there early, and he hears this guy. He hears this coworker, and he's going, "Give me the gun! I'm gonna kill this motherfucker!" And he was telling it to me, he was laughing, and I was laughing. And I haven't been able to get it out of my head. I just keep thinking about it all the time. Just get me the gun and kill this motherfucker. Like, oh, dude. I love that. But the thing is, right, is I don't like calling this guy the motherfucker, to be honest. Because the thing is, right, is that saying he's a motherfucker implies that he is doing something. That implies that he is fucking mothers, right? And he's not. He's not doing shit. He doesn't do shit. So, I don't want to call him motherfucker. So, that coworker also likes to, he usually calls him the criminal. Which, I like that name too. It's a good name. It's a funny name. Yeah, because, to be honest, like, the shit he is doing is kind of criminal. Like, he's not doing his job even though he's getting paid for it. So, yeah. But, yeah, that was a pretty long rant about this fucking coworker. Guy really pisses me off. And, like, I feel like I'm somebody who really doesn't get pissed off that easily. But, like, there have been multiple times where I'm, like, working with this dude, and I'm, like, red in the face, and I fucking can feel, like, I am pissed. I am pissed at this fucking guy. Like, I want to fucking go up this guy and just fucking punch him in the face. You know? And I won't, because I don't think that's the answer, and that's just gonna fuck me over, right? But it doesn't change the fact that I kind of want to. You know? Like, this motherfucker deserves a punch in the face. And I can tell you that this dude someday, he is going to meet the wrong person. He is going to meet some person who does not care to risk, or who doesn't care about the risk of jail time for fucking, you know, assaulting this dude. And they're going to do it. They're going to fucking punch him in the face, or, you know, they're going to fucking slam him on the ground or some shit. They're going to do some shit to him. And when it happens, he's got nobody to blame but himself, because he has had ample fucking time. Like, this is a fucking old dude. He has had ample time to fucking change his ways at this point, and he refuses to. So, fuck you. You know? You deserve that shit. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah. With that said, that was basically all I really had for this week. I do kind of have one other thing that happened yesterday, apart from talking to my manager, that honestly kind of was more, I would say, more impactful to me than talking to that manager, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna save that for another video, because I think that's a whole topic in its own. Because, to be honest, it kind of just fucking shattered my whole reality and made me rethink a lot of things. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. I really hope that soon I'm not gonna have to work with this guy because, you know, if they're not going to do anything about him and he's just gonna continue to get away with this fucking behavior, then it's like, either I'm not gonna work with him or I'm not gonna stay there. You know? Especially if, you know, I'll save that whole other topic for another time. But yeah. Whew, this was a pretty long one. Part of me wanted to keep these shorter, but, you know, it just kind of happened. You know, sometimes you just gotta fucking rant about pieces of shit for 30 minutes just to get out of your system, you know? So, yeah. Oh, and I guess also I can mention as well, tying into this fucking piece of shit, I also probably am gonna have to be working with him a lot this week. Like usually I have to work with him like 1 day a week. This week, we'll see. It might be, well, it might still just be the one. I don't know, but I might have to work Christmas Eve with him, and we close early on Christmas Eve. So I'm gonna be probably getting there like early in the morning and having to fucking close with this piece of shit. And yeah. All I gotta say is he's gonna be lucky if he doesn't catch a fish somewhere. Fish? He's gonna be lucky if he doesn't catch a fish somewhere. You know? That's all I'm saying. But, yeah. But, I will say, I'm not gonna fucking hold back with this guy anymore. Like, I have held back so much. Like, when he was fucking treating me like shit, I just kind of took it and was like, yeah, whatever, right? And just tried to diffuse the situation. But if he does that shit where he, like, intimidates me again, he's like, you know, you better finish because, you know, we gotta be done by 10. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, how about you do your fucking job then? Right? How about you fucking do your job? Or how about you fucking help me with these customers, right? Instead of just sitting on your ass and just fucking leaving the whole time. And he knows that the leaving is a fucking issue too. Because he's said so. Like, there was one time where he left like twice in the first hour, and he told me, you know, before he left the last time for the first hour, he told me, you know, oh, this is the last time I leave. I promise. This will be the last time I leave. It wasn't the last time he left, by the way. He left many times after that, but, you know, he knows it's a fucking problem, but he doesn't care. And I almost, you know, if he was going to make some snarky comment at me or whatever, or, you know, be like, oh, wow, yeah, we're going to finish tonight, or something like that, I'd be like, you know, it's really strange for a guy who cares so much about closing on time. It seems like you really like to just leave a lot and not do your job. That's really weird. You know? I honestly was almost going to say that shit. But did not. Didn't really have an opportunity to say it, and I didn't feel like fucking saying anything to this fucking guy because he doesn't deserve to fucking talk to me. So, yeah. With that said, it is almost 6 o'clock. I gotta go home. I'm kind of hungry. I only had breakfast. I didn't eat any lunch. Probably a mistake. But yeah. I might try to record some other videos tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I have so many things that I want to record, and yeah. Fuck. We'll see what happens. But I don't know why my fucking throat. What the hell? Oh god. Alright. Well, I guess I'm gonna end this here. So, yeah, I guess that's it.